Hello, everyone, and welcome to a live presentation of the SIM500 Classic Cup Series presented by Kick-Ass Beef Jerky. Tonight is race 3 of our 11-race season, and we are back at Super Speedway for this installment. This evening, we're going to call the famous Talladega Super Speedway in Talladega, Alabama, our home for 66 laps of side-by-side, door-to-door, wheel-to-wheel action. The field running down the backstretch, getting ready for the start on the pole. Jason Barham in the 99 outside last week's winner. Tyler Dalton, Timothy Workman clocked in for third. Fourth place on the starting grid is the number 5 of Mike Kelly. Corey Chester, one of the top runners the last couple of weeks, starts in that 5th position. Ricky Hardin on his outside in the number 15. Cole Dutton, James Somke make up row number 4. Reed Rundle, Mike Montesi are row number 5. TJ Majors in the number 22 starts in the 12th position. Jamie Coleman starts 13th. Chris Stouffer in the number 13 starts 14th. And you can see on your ticker across the screen starting position for the rest of the cars as the pace truck ready to turn left and set this field straight. 66 laps of action here at the Talladega Super Speedway. We're glad you could join us as they are about to drop the green flag. RPM's coming up. Everybody high in anticipation. Green flag drops. Hammer down for the number 99 of Jason Barham. He gets a good start, but still side by side as they come up through the gears and race into turn number 1. It's going to take a while for them to get fully up to speed as they roll through the banking for the first time here at Talladega.
Really takes these cars just a minute to get back up to speed, Kevin. Get up to speed for the very first time as we're on lap 1, coming out of turn number 2, still 2x2 all the way through the field here. Miller Lite down low, Coors up high. Got a great battle heading on down into the turn number 3.
Big charge from the outside led by Mike Kelly. He's going to sweep to the outside and take the lead. Second, Jason Barham tucks in his tire tracks. It's going to be Ricky Hardin taking advantage of that outside run. He's going to nestle into third as they're coming through the tri-oval to get to the stripe, which is down near turn number 1. Unlike Daytona, have to run all the way through the tri-oval. They're side by side for the lead. And it looks like Mike Kelly in the 5, Levi Garrett, was your leader for lap number 1.
Still 2x2 as these guys juke and jive all over this racetrack trying to get the best line as they're trying to work the draft off the back of the cars, trying to get the draft off the side of the cars. Really just trying to see the 9 dip on down low, come back up. No harm, no foul there as he didn't actually advance his position. But there you see that number 22 machine. TJ Majors making his Vidain TV debut in the door bumper clear car. Right now he's at the door. Or no, he's at the bumper. Now he's at the door. I don't know how spotters work. I just call the race.
Still side-by-side for the lead. We're just going to see side-by-side through the whole pack all the way through. The inside line, the outside line. These cars relatively stable right in the beginning, but as the tires wear, they become a handful, especially in the draft. You'll see them juking. You'll see them jiving. They'll be moving around as TJ Major slips up off the yellow line in second, but he gathers it up, and he's going to sneak down low to see if he can...
Oh, we got a car down on the inside. It's going to be a hard hit. Looks like, big-time damage. Not sure who that is. We'll have to take a peek and see exactly what that was. Looks like it might have been the 6th machine of Corey Chester, but we still stay green. Lap number 3 is 66, a 1-car incident on the backstretch. 3 wide up front for the lead, 3 wide for second, 2 wide for the lead. To give it to TJ Majors, he's going to lead that lap with Mike Kelly on the outside in that 5 car. Got a little bit of a push there from the number 99 machine.
Yeah, Kelly trying to surge on the outside as that 1 car squirted out of the pack, got hard into the outside wall. We have to presume, since we're still under green, that they were able to drive away as they're 3 wide going through the banking. Huge banking at this racetrack. It is 33 degrees of banking, and it's so wide that you could run 3 and 4 wide, and they're taking the opportunity. Going down the backstretch, 3 wide for the lead. Here comes the number 2. We're going to see this all night long. Everybody getting advantage of these runs as Cole Dutton making his presence for the first time out front. It's TJ Majors leading EJ O'Rourke.
Huge move by the number 22 of TJ Majors to go up and block on the outside. Comes back down in the middle lane to get in front of the number 5 car, Mike Kelly, doing a great job trying to lead everybody and make sure he's out front. Hard charge from the inside, the number 41 machine of EJ O'Rourke. And again, TJ Majors does a fantastic job holding them off down in the bottom line.
Boy, I clenched up in my seat there for a moment going through the trioval. O'Rourke saw TJ Majors coming down and ended up getting very sideways over there, but he was able to gather it up, and now look at him. He's to the outside battling for the lead. He's at the door of TJ Majors number 22, trying to get that run off the outside. Does he have any help from the back? That's really what he's going to need. Nobody there. The 7 of Mike Montesi goes to the bottom line, and it's going to be TJ's lead one more time coming back to the stripe here for lap number 6.
You can see he's kind of working himself all by himself up front. TJ Majors going from the top side down to the bottom side, trying to give these guys equal amount of drafting help so one line doesn't get in front of the other one. As you see Ricky Hardin on the number 15 machine, he goes to try and work with that high side, and these guys are switching lanes, going back and forth. It looks like we've got a big move coming from the 41, shooting almost looking 4 wide as we head on down into turn number 3.
I have to look back at the pack at the 7th place car. It is Josh Parker in the number 23. He started 24th. How he moved through the field so quickly in that car is beyond me. As they're 3 by 3 by 3 up front, it is everybody's race and anybody's race. They're almost 4 wide for the lead going to the stripe. And all I'm asking for is just hold your line. See if you guys can get through these corners cleanly, as it looks like the advantage is going to come from Mike Kelly on the outside line. He's going to nose ahead as they go to the backstretch.
Oh, big time wiggle from the mellow yellow car there with the 38. That's going to be Chad Coleman. Fantastic job saving that car. Got a big wiggle, and he was able to hold on to it. Lost a lot of momentum, dropped a few positions there, but great car control there from the 38 of Chad Coleman. And don't look now, but Josh Parker in that bright green and black Interstate Batteries car. Don't call it a Kyle Busch car. That's a Bobby Labonte car, and Josh will tell you that absolutely to your face.
Yeah, I just have to take a deep breath. I'm watching this action all the way through the pack, bobbing and weaving everybody there. And where did TJ Majors come from? Hasn't been here the last couple of weeks as we open the season. And he's going to start by trying to lead every lap as they go through. Big run on the high side by the number 15, trying to get the momentum to the top as they roll through. TJ Majors is completely under assault now as he is in a 4-wide sandwich to the high side. Way loose up against the outside, and now they're going to drop him back a little bit as we have a new leader. Give it to the number 7 of Mike Montesi from the bottom lane. He is getting a push by Reed Rundle, and what a good drive for the 7 coming up through the bottom.
Yeah, you can see the 22 backed up, just back to about 6th place there, trying to find himself a spot in line to just kind of catch his breath and gather his thoughts and say, holy cow, that was fun for about 9 laps. And, it's still early on in the race here, Kevin, so these guys are still going to try and get their groove on, feel the cars out a little bit. You got to figure tires aren't usually a big factor here at Talladega, but in these 87 Classic Cup cars, you never know. It's they drive like boats, and they're pretty loose in the back end, as we talked to some of the drivers earlier on. So they were just saying, you know what, we don't really have a plan. We're just going to kind of hammer down and see where we're going. And you can see Josh Parker, that number 23 ride, doing just that, as he's going to try and lead lap number 10.
Yeah, I see TJ Mayer. He's trying to get his courage back up. He was way up against the fence out there in turn number 3. He's probably sitting a little higher in the seat, but he's gathered his, right in front of him sideways is the 41 of EJ O'Rourke, able to gather it up. I'm telling you, the exhibit of skill, because when these cars get sideways, it's such a difficult task to wrestle them back in. I thought for sure EJ was going to go absolutely into the apron there, but he was able to gather it up and keep it going. As, man, they just continue to be under assault up front. Once again, though, Paul, we see it's Mike Kelly out front.
Yeah, we see that 5 machine out front very, very often, but big time charge from the outside line. Everybody, I was going to say they were going single file. It looks like they were going to try and log a couple of laps, but the outside line really put together there. Josh Parker, you see in the 23, TJ Majors in the 22, EJ O'Rourke there in the 41, and the 15, Ricky HARDIN. Chris Stouffer in the 13, that Richard Petty looking ride right there. They were really tucked up nice and tight up top, and they were able to really make up some ground on that high line.
As we catch our breath and look at this field, the interesting thing is nobody is really out of this. You could go all the way back to the drivers who are still on the lead lap, talking about like Joshua King and John Zerke riding back there, 24th, 25th. They're still in the mix. If they had to, they could probably collect the draft and drive back through. As we see some of our top drivers, Jason Barham started first, the 7 of Cole Dutton, or the 2 of Cole Dutton started 7th. He's running 19th right now. You have to wonder if some of these guys are just pacing themselves, waiting for the laps to click off.
Absolutely, Kevin. We just saw a nice wide shot there, and you saw that everybody's pretty much in. There's a bunch of cars in the first pack, 2x2 all the way through there, and then you can see there's almost a second and third pack just kind of biding their time, holding on to the draft, the tail end of the draft, holding on, trying to save a little bit of car, a little bit of tire to see what they can maybe make a run towards the end of the race. That was always my style when I used to run these Super Speedway series back at Verdane Racing years ago, but it never really worked out for me because I always end up getting caught up in a wreck. And we hate saying it this early on. I was just going to say, I hate seeing the big one, and unfortunately, there goes the 22. TJ Majors gets spun around. Caution is going to come out. It doesn't look like there was too much damage there, but we'll have to pull up an instant replay and see exactly what went down there, Kevin.
Yeah, just I think TJ got loose going into the tri-oval and could not keep the car underneath him. I ran a Daytona race earlier, and I was leading with 3 laps to go and did the exact same thing. So, TJ, you're in good company there. You know, these cars are a handful of what we heard from the drivers in each pit as we walked through practice, asking them. They said when you get to about the 10 to 15 lap, those rear tires go away and they get hot and the car loses grip, and they are a handful to keep going straight. And the good news for TJ, other than his pride, no damage. He's able to drive that car away. He'll be able to go get a set of tires and get back in the fight.
Yep, and we're just taking a look at the instant replay right now. You saw there was no contact. There was still quite a bit of space there between the 5 and the 22. Just got a little bit arrow loose there, as they say, and lost the back end of the race car. But as you alluded to, Kevin, no damage on that 22 car, and it looks like it was just a one-car incident. So good news for TJ. He's going to be able to grab some tires and probably head down to pit road here, and we'll see what all we got. Looks like we're actually waiting for the pace truck.
Waiting for the pace truck to come through. And I'll tell you what, you look at the way he went around. He didn't panic. He kept the car straight, and he got the car pointed in the right direction and was able to clear that up pretty quickly. Now what we see is everybody should come down for 4 fresh Goodyears. As we see the first car in is the number 23 of Chad Coleman, and everybody's going to collect the pace truck. I have to wonder if anybody would stay out. I see the one damaged car of Corey Chester. He was the car, I believe, squirted out earlier in that incident, as we see quite a bit of damage on the back of the Nintendo Chevrolet. But it's 4 tires and Sunoco fuel for just about the entire field.
Everybody trying to race off pit road right now. Looks like the entire field, as you said, Kevin, down on pit road for at least 2 tires and fuel. You got to figure with Talladega, Daytona, usually Talladega, you get about 44 to 46 laps on a full tank, and really puts us right into that window, not including a green-white checkered here. So really good opportunity for these guys to come down pit road and top off and see if they've got some of these guys might be able to save a little bit of fuel, especially guys in the back of the pack where they're able to kind of save a little bit of fuel by not hammering down too much and using the draft. But we see right now, taking a look at the timing and scoring, it looks like the 96 car was the only car that didn't pit, and he's going to be current leader in that Turtle Wax 96 machine.
You have to wonder when they come around if he's going to duck in and get tires and go into the back, because I would not want to restart this race at lap 15 with 15-lap tire wear with fresh tires behind me. But we'll see the strategy. You know, this little bit of a break gives us a chance to recap last week's winner, Tyler Dalton. Second was Chad Coleman, Mike Kelly third, EJ O'Rourke fourth, and Reed Rundle in fifth. There's a lot of these drivers that are looking at the point championship. Someone like Mike Kelly, who has a first and a third. is sitting pretty, but a couple of these drivers want to come out of here clean if they're going to have any chance to win the point championship.
Absolutely, and we asked a lot of the drivers in their interviews after last week's race, are you looking at points yet? No, we're just looking to win, and man, that's how you get the points. That's how you get the most points, is to come home with that number one spot. So it is pretty tough. A lot of drivers, it really depends on their style. Some drivers will go out there, they'll try and do the points racings right off the rip and get every point that they possibly can by either leading a lap or getting any bonus points that the rules may or may not allow. But some guys, they just kind of go out there, run their race, they try and have some fun, log off some top 10s, top 5s, couple of wins or two, maybe some podiums, get themselves interviewed here on the Verdane TV post-race show. But it's really up to the driver to see what they want to do. Just like with the 96 car staying out right now. Doesn't look like he's even going to try and come down pit road. He wants to stay out, get that track position, and lead that race. As we can see, the lights are off on that pace truck. Everybody's starting to line them up 2 by 2. It's going to be 96 on the inside. It's going to be Brandley Addington and E.J. O'Rourke, and number 41 on the outside.
Yeah, and as we look at the first opportunity for a restart, we think about how that works here. Sometimes you get an accordion effect. When you're early in a race, drivers tend to leave a little more space, but towards the end, they really want to have the opportunity to get the draft, get going quickly. And I think we'll probably have a fairly clean restart as they come up through the gears here. Track position, not that critical of a deal until about the 2/3 mark. When you get to the 2/3 mark, you really want to have whatever your plan is, whether you're partnering with another driver to draft and get in that outside lane, get organized, get yourself up front. More important to be up in the front when you get to the final third of the race. Still early in, 15 laps in, we'll reset your running order. Addington is in first, as we said. EJ O'Rourke second, Mike Kelly third. Ricky Hardin running fourth, Josh Parker in fifth. Mike Montesi in sixth, Reed Rundle seventh. Christopher in the 13 running eighth, Tyler Dalton running ninth, and your top 10 is the number 31 of Jimmy Coleman. They're coming down the backstretch, getting ready for a restart. They've had a bit of a breather. And at this point, Paul, I think a lot of them have had the chance to run some laps under green. They got a sense of how the car is going to work. They got a sense of how the car is going to operate in traffic. And now I think they'll be more comfortable to be a little more challenging and see if they can get themselves up front.
Oh, you're absolutely right, Kevin. One of the biggest things with super speedway racing, you can control what you do, but you can't necessarily control what everybody else does. And one of the biggest things is being comfortable with who you're around. You need to be able to know when they're going to jump high, when they're going to go low, if you can bump them, if they can bump you. You really want to know what they're going to be able to do and how they're going to react to any kind of move that you throw at them. As a 96 is just biding his time. Looks like he's going to hammer down here, get that green flag, restart this race here on lap number 15. And you can see the 41 gets a great restart as well. They're side by side. 41 actually gets the pole just a little bit with some help from Ricky Hardin, number 15. Oh, and EJ jumps down low, blocks off that 96 and takes over the lead. He's going to have it coming out of turn number 2.
The Gary Mercer Trucking Inc. number 41, right painting that yellow line as they scream off to the backstretch. He's got a bumper full of the number 15. Ricky Hardin is just as tight as you could be to the back bumper going down, but that's not going to help too much because on the outside, they're under assault. Here comes the tandem. The number 5 is being pushed by Josh Parker in the number 23. Mike Kelly one more time trying to assert his dominance over this field early on. Kelly and Parker locked bumper to bumper as they go through the tri-oval. It's clearly going to be Kelly for the lead in lap number 17.
Absolutely. We talked to Josh Parker before the race, and that was his plan. Hammer down, try and get to the front as quick as he can, and see who's up there to work with. Try and give him the bumper earlier on just to see exactly, like I said, how they react. Oh, we got to spin 41. The Aurora car's around. Oh, he almost blows over. The back end of that race car lifts up off the ground. Luckily, he lands right back on all 4. Doesn't look like there's too much damage, and it doesn't look like there's anybody else there involved. So we will pull up the Kick-Ass Beef Jerky instant replay and see if we can find out exactly what went down there, Kevin.
I was watching practice. That's the second car of the weekend for O'Rourke. He took a huge hit down the backstretch earlier and is in the backup car. The car just got on the apron a little bit out of turn number 2, and then he got a nudge. He had a little bit of help. The 15 got into him, just tapped him enough to get him sideways. He locked it down and tried to do his best to keep it off the wall, and I think he did a really good job at that.
Yeah, for sure. And you can see you called it just like it was. You can see almost blows that car over, but does a great job. Locks the brakes up and stops just shy of that wall. Fantastic car control there for the 41 of EJ O'Rourke. He's going to come down pit road for sure and grab some more tires and just pull the belts tight and make sure that everything is good to go in there. Big scare for the 41 car, but it looks like he's going to be able to grab a gear and get on rolling.
So working caution number 2, lap 17, is the field gathering up one more time. Everybody gets to get a break. And, one of the dynamics that we haven't discussed is there are drivers who are working together. We could look over here in the Discord channel and see pairs of drivers in different channels. And it takes a little bit of time sometimes for you to get to your driver, to get comfortable with them and find your running mate. And then from the tandem we see, for example, we saw Parker and Kelly working together, that you can make your way through the field. The more we go into this race, the more the drivers that are working together can find each other, and we might see some other drivers sneaking their way up. As the field rolls through here, some of the drivers are going to take opportunity to pit. Others are just going to stay out. We see a mix of strategies. I see some of the cars going slow and stopped down here on the apron. I'm not sure what they're working on there. There's certainly about a third to a half the field has come down to get tires and fuel.
Yeah, it's one of those things. These guys just pitted about 4 or 5 laps ago, but you really want to. You can see a lot of these guys taking fuel only and then getting right back on the racetrack. So a lot of these guys are thinking fuel mileage, and it's one of those things where it's right on the edge. It could be anywhere between 42, maybe 46 laps of fuel, depending on how hard you run, where you're at in the draft, and where you're at on track as well. So definitely a good call. I would think if you're running anywhere from the mid pack towards the back, to come on down, maybe get 4 fresh tires and top off the fuel tank for sure.
So one thing we've been watching, trying to see whether this was going to emerge, is the bottom line the place to be? Is the middle line the place to be? Never liked the middle line. Or is the top the way to make it around and carry the momentum? Certainly the bottom is the shortest lane, but tonight we've seen some really good organized runs from the outside. And I don't see that there's any preference here tonight, Paul.
Yeah, it really depends on who is running where these drivers are going to be, and who they're going to be working with. Because we were able to see the low line kind of kicked up, the high line kind of kicked up, and we even saw EJ O'Rourke in the 41 machine. He did a great job trying to push the center lane as well. So really tough to call right now. It's I don't think it's going to come down to where they're at on the track. It's going to end up being who is running where.
Tell me your sense of bump drafting here. We do see cars locked together, tight, but we don't see that much physical contact. It's really difficult with this type of car.
It is. It absolutely is. And Talladega is usually better for bump drafting than Daytona is, just because it's longer, it's straighter, and there's a lot more room in the corners. But with these cars, the front and rear bumpers don't quite line up just right. So you really have to be comfortable with the driver that you're working with, the driver that is either bumping you or the driver that you're bumping. And you want to make sure that they know, and that's one of the things that these drivers have is car-to-car communication. They can tell them right when the driver in the back is right up against the back bumper of the car in front. So big advantage having the car-to-car communications, and it's also good to have these guys. We were watching practice earlier on, Kevin. These guys ran 15, 20, 30 laps in their hour practice just to make sure that they knew exactly how their cars were going to react.
Yeah, it's completely customary for them to run a fuel run to see how the tires are going to be. And I think some of these drivers may have added fuel just to get weight in the back, to get more grip in the back. It's certainly not July 26, 1987. That's the real race that ran here in 87. Elliott was your winner, Bill Elliott in the 9. Davey Allison, Dale Earnhardt, Darrell Waltrip, and Cale Yarborough made up your top 5. If you look at it, today's modern day Bill Elliott running the Jeff Bodine scheme number 5 has been Mike Kelly so far this year. He's been the guy. He had Josh Parker on his back bumper, but as I look here, lap 20, Josh Parker running position 14. The dynamic duo that came to the front is broken up, and now we have some additional players up there. We look at the Brindley Addington car. He did a good job. The 96, which started 20th, is still running 6th after that restart, hanging in there even though he didn't pit that first go-round.
He actually didn't pit the second go around either, so that's he's got 20 lap old tires. That's definitely going to be something to watch here on the restart. You got to make sure that he got all the dirt and the muck and get the off the tires and got everything warmed back up. And we're actually, as you made mention, Josh Parker. He's the first guy that pitted this last caution. Only took a 7.8 pit stop, so looks like he only took 2 tires and maybe fuel. But that tops him off. He's going to be the first driver in line with a full tank of fuel.
Yeah, one of the things I know from practicing in this car to get a sense of it is when you get to the corner, if you're hammered down wide open into the corner, you tend to scrub that right front tire and you tend to wear the outsides quite a bit. If you let off the gas, let the car roll into the corner, you tend to reduce the tire wear. That's an easy thing to do when you're in traffic and pulling the draft. You let off, let the car roll into the corner and down the back straightaway because you're probably only running 3/4 anyway. You could draw up to the car and save your tires. So some of these drivers, like Brindley, may have that good strategy going on as we go back to green.
Green flag flies, and Mike Kelly with another fantastic restart. You can see he gets a little bit of an advantage, but there comes Ricky Hardin, that number 15 machine up high with a great push from the number 9. He's not really right on his back bumper, but he's close enough to be able to have some draft there. Tyler Doughton trying to get up and get that car a little bit of fresh air outside of 15, but then he falls right back in line. But don't look now, the Little Caesars car, the number 43, right on the back bumper of Mike Kelly in that number 5 car, trying to push these guys. Who's going to be in the lead for the next lap? Who knows? It could be the 5, the 15, any of these drivers at this point.
Yeah, we watch this dynamic as the top 4 have broken away a little bit, but Chris Stouffer in the STP number 13, he's coming up. He's going to make it a 5-car pack. They come through into the trioval, and it looks like Stouffer may be the one that's going to help the situation as he comes in. And wow, look at the run for the number 2. He's going to dive in and come in Cole Dutton to the mix through the middle. And he is on the back bumper as Kelly gets a good run on the bottom. He is hugging that yellow line.
In the catbird seat right now, but for how long? They're 3 wide for second. Looks like 2 wide, 4 wide. Man, these guys are all over the place up front. They're doing a great job holding on to the cars. And you can see the 5 is down low. The 43 gets a great run on the outside. But here come the 15, the 2, and the 9 as well, trying to get that middle lane to work.
I was watching the dance of the HARDIN car, the number 15 going through turn number 2, got a little bit sideways, just eked the car back a little bit and then opened the hole. And certainly Reed Rundle did not waste any time in jumping in. They were really super close, but it's going to pay dividends as he's going to lead lap number 23, loose into the corner, but still carrying a lot of speed. What do they say, Paul? Loose is fast.
Well, usually loose is fast at short tracks, not so much at super speedways. But these guys doing a great job holding on to the race cars. And man, oh man, you can see the top 3 on that inside line, bumper to bumper to bumper, really trying to push each other away from this pack. And speaking of bumpers, door bumper clear, TJ Majors in that number 22, all the way back up to 6th. Check that 4th. He's going to be the 4th car on the inside line.
Yeah, where did he come from? I think he restarted in, I want to say,
pack for sure.
14th, 12th, somewhere around there. And here he is hunting in the top pack again. As we see for the first time, Seth Harrelson, who came from a long way back. He's going to run up there in the 4th position right now. He started 28th on the field. It shows that if you're patient and pick your lanes, pick your battles, you could drive yourself up to the front of this field.
Chess, not checkers here with Talladega Speedway and really all the super speedway races. You're not going to be able to win it on lap 1 or lap 5 or even in this case, lap 65. Sometimes you might even not win it on lap 66. We might get a green, white checkered and we go into overtime. It's a long race for sure, and you really want to make sure that you still have all your eggs in your basket towards the end of the race. You don't want to lose anything between now and then.
I am so fascinated at the raciness. I love the action, but I would have thought that they would have run hard in the beginning, and then you tend to settle down, pick and choose your battles through the middle because you want to get to the finish. But it has been full court press for these guys all the way through. It just looks like everybody wants to be up front.
Everybody wants to be up front. Everybody's trying to get there, but they're doing it cleanly and they're doing it smart. A couple of weeks ago at Daytona, we had quite a few cautions, unfortunately, but these guys seems like they've gotten used to the car. And again, like I said, they've gotten used to each other, really able to drive around each other and know how everybody's going to react to different move sets and different things like that. So these guys doing a great job. You can see Mike Kelly still up front in the number 2 car. Cole Dutton, he's still doing a great job holding on the outside. The 07 and the 43 right behind those guys in that second row as well, Kevin.
Yeah, everybody testing their muscle to see whether or not they could drive through the field, as we see another player, Joey Jatena. He's sitting back there in the 6th position right now, low lane. His Matador tucked right up to the back bumper. A little bit of a wave off the corner. You want to let the car breathe. See Reed Rundle flopping all over the place. As we get farther into these laps, these cars become more and more unstable.
And it's one of the things where the front end of the cars really hang on to the track very, very well, but the back end seem to lose. As you burn the fuel off, the back end of the race car actually gets lighter, and it makes it so it wants to slide around a lot, and it wants to come around and really get that car loose. So these guys they're really able to drive hard in the beginning of the run. Towards the end, they can still race hard, but they really have to be careful with it. It's really playing with fire at that point.
An interesting dynamic, we just saw it out of the 14 there as he's sandwiched in the middle. Every once in a while you see the flames belch out of the side of the car. When the driver has to let off, it dumps a lot of fuel into the system. It goes out the exhaust and it lights up. And you see these drivers, so you can tell they're having to lift occasionally to keep from running over the car in front of them.
Absolutely, and that's one of the things you'll see a lot of times with super speedway races. A lot of drivers think you can just get in there, go full bore, and hold it down to the floor for the entire race. Not so much with these, especially with these 87 Classic Cup Series cars. You really have to burp the throttle when you're coming up on somebody, and especially later on in the run as the tires get worn off and the tires get hot and sticky and all that good stuff. You have to kind of burp the throttle coming through the corner to make sure that that car is still going to hold on to the track.
New leader, P1, take it to Josh Parker. He went into turn 3 last time. Car was sideways. It did look like Rowdy Burns going in there. He stuck it in the middle, and then coming out of turn number 4, he did it again. Big bump, gets him sideways. Coming into turn number 3, man, he had a handful there. As look who snuck in underneath while all that was going on. The 22 TJ Majors returns to the front of the pack.
Yep, while everybody was watching that bright green number 23 Interstate Batteries machine, TJ Majors said, hey, watch this. I'm going to come up here and lead a couple of laps. And there you see the 22 on the inside, TJ Majors. 23, Josh Parker on the outside with another big push from Cole Dutton in that number 2 ride. And everybody really pretty much bumper to bumper, inside and outside. It's hard to tell who's going to have the advantage here. As you can see, there's a bit of space now. 2 car jumps down low, and Parker's all by himself until that 9 car comes up and closes the gap.
Scoring monitor looks like a slot machine in Las Vegas. It's blinking back and forth with the positions changing all the way through. Josh Parker, your leader. TJ Majors in second. Cole Dutton third. Reed Rundle is in fourth. Tyler Dalton holds down that 5th position. Mike Kelly still hanging tough in that top 10. Joey Jatena, Seth Harrelson, Ricky HARDIN, John Mustin Jr., and Glenn Campbell roll out to 11th. Timothy Workman just having a quiet race, sitting back there, the 83. We know he found some trouble at Daytona, but he was able to come back through and get a respectable finish. And I think after licking his wounds coming out of Daytona, he's just being very cautious here tonight.
For sure, Kevin, and these guys just doing a great job up front. You can see 9 car has a big push from Mike Kelly, and they were trying to get down low to the 22, but he does a great job holding it right down there on the yellow line. So not able to get through there. Had to check up just a little bit. Like I said, kind of burp the throttle. Josh Parker still doing a good job. You can see trying to lead both of these lines as much as possible just to essentially make sure that one line doesn't have an advantage. But it looks like 22 is going to pull up to his bumper, and not quite enough steam there because he's got Parker's got a little bit more help up on the outside line.
I don't know if it's me or not, but we talked about the race generally having a little bit of a calming effect through the middle. We're approaching halfway, and it doesn't seem like they're under attack as much. Just as soon as I say that, TJ goes up a little bit in the 15, and other cars looking like they're licking their chops. I saw the 9 of Tyler Dutton peek to the bottom. TJ came and covered that, and he continues to lead coming out of 4. To the banking, through the flat, there's only about 3 to 4 degrees banking. Then they come into the 16 degrees of the tri-oval, holding the car, but A lot of drivers will tell you that tri-oval is as tricky as any corner here in Talladega.
Yeah, a couple of incidents there in the tryover for Josh Parker as he was trying to draft with a few other drivers there, and he'd be the first one to tell you really can't bump draft in the trioval. It's really only meant for the backstretch, as these guys are pulling up on the backstretch right now. But with these cars, with the back ends getting so loose like that, and when they lose a lot of the weight from the fuel burning off, it's really tough to bump in the corners. So you'll see they'll do what they're doing right now. They're probably about a half a car length between each other, and that's giving them enough draft to kind of push the car forward.
If you're just joining us, 32 laps is the action, 66 laps tonight. 2 cautions on the evening. First one for TJ Majors. Spun out of the lead, but then drove back through the pack. He's out front this time. And we also had the 15 and the 41 have some action on lap number 17. I'm peeking through the field, just looking to see what's going on, trying to keep track of everybody else. And I'm looking at Chad Coleman in the number 38, the mellow yellow Chevrolet. The whole back bumper caved in on the back of that car. It's the back of the car. You would hope that that's not going to hurt him too much, but uncharacteristically, he's running mid-pack, and it could be because of that damage.
For sure, and it could have even been to the point, you can see he's just kind of back there by himself. He may have already said he's done wrecking for the night. He's just going to kind of hang on. He had a great finish at Daytona a few weeks ago, finished 3rd last week, I believe, was up here talking to us in the Vidane TV post-race show. So a great race and doing pretty well in the points, but he may very well just be kind of biding his time, waiting. We're still just about, we're just past halfway at this point, lap 34 of 66. So I don't think you can count Chad Coleman out. He's holding on to that draft of the lead pack, and at any given moment, all he has to do is hook up with 1 or 2 drivers. He'll be right up towards the front of the pack. Speaking of the front of the pack, holy moly.
Yeah, well, there goes one car sideways into the apron down the bottom. This is going to be the big one. Multiple cars pile in. I'm riding with E.J. O'Rourke, who slows down. He got slammed in the back, but we see 8, 10, 12 cars down on there. I see Reed Rundle crashing, and this is going to be the big one. They're going to take out a lot of the top competitors in this accident over there in turn 3.
Yep, we just caught the tail end of that happening up. It looked like it started in the top 5, as you said, Kevin, and really took out a lot of the front runners. There was no real huge hits, it didn't look like. So we'll see if we can take a peek and pull the replay up, find out what went down there.
I saw one car go sideways. It looked like a silver car. Maybe the number 3 turned sideways. John Mustang Jr. And to his outside was the 15. And I'm not sure where it started, but after that, Joey Jatena and several other cars piling in, taking a lot of damage here as the big one has struck at Talladega, caution number 3.
Yeah, we'll take a look at it from the chopper view here. You can see we're going to focus in the number 15 car. Just up by himself, gets loose, and unfortunately there was nowhere really for the 3 car to go. You see 23 Parker gets in it, Joey Jatena gets some. 1 car does a great job getting on through there, but the 02 gets involved as well. Here you see the 83 with some damage, the 07, the 02. So a lot of tore up race cars at this point. 43 is involved. Reeve Rundle, we saw him up front for a lot of the beginning of the race. And, man, tough break for a lot of these drivers because it started up front, but it kind of worked its way towards the middle of the pack. So a lot of these drivers you're going to see, they're going to be on pit road trying to bang out the sheet metal on these virtual race cars.
That is one great thing about the 2.66-mile track here at Talladega is it leaves you a lot of time under caution to get the cars repaired. And some of these cars are going to look like Martinsville specials when they get done here. That's going to thin the herd, and you have to wonder if some of those drivers who were riding out back, and, you know, it's funny, I told you I was just peeking at strategies and looking at the 41 of Reed or the 41 of E.J. O'Rourke. He was involved in that first caution. He was riding out in the back, Paul. He put on the brakes and got rear-ended, and the back of the car got smashed anyway, even though he was nowhere near that.
Pardon me, comes right back around to what I was saying earlier, Kevin, is you can really control what you do, but it's tough to control what all the other drivers are doing here on the racetrack. So a lot of these guys maybe mixing it up just a little bit. Some of the cars that may have been up front towards the middle of the pack. Right now it looks like the 94 is the winner off of pit road. See, he took... looks like he may have taken 2 tires there. I didn't even stop. Didn't come down pit road. So 94, Todd Kirkwood's going to be your leader. The number 8, Randy Yoakum, he's going to be second. Cole Dutton third. Tyler Doughton fourth. And where did he come from? Brian Macklin in the number 30 machine. He's going to be fifth.
Yeah, Yoakum was running 20th when the caution flew. And now he's going to be sitting up there in front with a clean car. Also, so the Shannon Wood car get damaged in that incident. It was pretty far back, and that's another thing is you think you could stop these cars, but unfortunately, there's times when you just can't avoid it. You go all the way through and you hit the last car. I'm going to tell you, if you get a chance to go look at the 02, he was bobbing, weaving, waffling, and drove through that with no damage. Great job by Shannon Wood to get clear of that.
Yeah, we heard a lot of the drivers talk earlier on, Kevin. These cars drive like boats. They're very they drive almost like Cadillacs, but in water. They're really wishy-washy, and it's hard to kind of hold them straight. It takes a long time for them to accelerate, and it takes them a long time to stop as well. Just like any street stock that you would see at a short track, brakes is really one of the things that they don't focus on too much.
I see Kirkwood is leading the pack as they go down in, but he's going to tuck in and go to pit lane, relinquish the lead.
Randy Yoakum following him down there. Looks like he just wanted a bonus point for leading a lap.
It looks like Cole Dutton is going to be the one on the bumper of the pace truck as they come through, followed by Tyler Dutton. Dutton, D-U-T-T-O-N, and Dalton, should get that right, D-A-L-T-O-N.
We'll get it figured out one of these days.
Yeah.
Lights are off on the pace car, and we're lining them up, and the top 5 looks like this. Cole Dutton, double T-O-N up front. Tyler Dalton's going to be on the outside. We talked for the first time just a few moments ago. Brian Macklin's going to be restarting third with TJ Majors on the outside. Saw him up front earlier on, got spun around. No contact or anything like that. Single car spin. Mike Kelly in that 5 car. He's been up front all night. And Ichio O'Rourke's back. That number 41. He's going to be restarting 7th on the outside of Glenn Campbell in the 44.
Yeah, Dutton, Dalton, and Macklin, your top 3. It sounds like a law firm getting ready for this restart here on lap 37. And now they've seen the big one. The question is, are they going to shake that off? Or are they going to do something in the context of, I don't care, I'm just going to hammer down, as we see, which car, the 30 going through? Yeah, he was just pulled down there on the apron. I'm not sure if he was tightening his belts or something, but Macklin now going to tuck back into that 3rd position.
May very well have just been adjusting the wheel or something along those lines. Kind of pulling down onto the apron, make sure he doesn't hit anybody on track. So past halfway at this point, lap 37, taking the green, lap 38, lights are off on the pace car. I want to thank you guys for joining us here on Verdane TV, the SIM500 network, for the Kick-Ass Beef Jerky Classic Cup Series, race number 3 here at Talladega. It's going to be a great finish here so far, and we just had a caution. And like you said, is it going to be one of those races where cautions breed cautions, or is it going to kind of shake the cobwebs out, let these guys know that there's still quite a few laps to race, and we'll see what we get. We're either going to get a clean second half or going to be calamity all over the racetrack.
Yeah, I love, one of my favorite things to do is to look at a driver who has not shown up anywhere on the radar, and then all of a sudden they appear. I'm looking at the 9th position held down by Jimmy Coleman. The Mountain Dew car looks pristine. Car looks really good and has not had any contact, and now he finds himself in the top 10. Right alongside is the number 1, Armor All. That is James Stomke, again, another driver we have not called all night long. So this is going to reshape the field as they head off into turn number 1, trying to grab the gears. And contact right away. TJ Majors upside down. Mike Kelly sideways through the grass. We're going to go right under caution as a big hit by the number 22, TJ Majors, on his lid.
Yeah, we saw another one up front. Oh, yeah, TJ Majors, you see the motor is smoking. Looks like he's going to be done for the evening. Resets that race car down onto pit road. Still smoking there on pit road. So we're going to pull up the old Kick-Ass Beef Jerky instant replay and see what all happened there. It looks like it was between the 5 and the 22 up front. And we're going to take a look at it from the glorious old chopper view here. So focus in. You see the 5 down low, and the 22 is going to be up high. and we'll see what went down. We'll call it as we see it. It looks like the 44 gets into the back quarter of the 22, gets him in again, and just turns him into the number 5, and you see, oh, big flip, couple of hits, 360 in midair, almost sticks the landing, comes down, scratches the 2 tire. I give him a 9.5 for style.
I give him a 9.5 for that one too, boy. Nice pirouette.
Nice little pirouette. Tries to match the gas to get the car to flip back over, but unfortunately doesn't do so. So, man, tough break for TJ Majors. It's going to be his second wreck here of the evening, and looks like he's going to be retiring from this race.
Yeah, it's a bummer. TJ's just having a great ride, and I look at that, and I wondered, watching it really closely, whether that was a netcode problem or there was real contact between that number 44, Glenn Campbell, and the 22. I think they were close enough. We got to give the call that it was contact. But in one of the views, I could almost see a whisper of space there. When you're driving the car and or riding in the car that gets tapped, you're absolutely feeling some sort of hit. But sometimes netcode causes that issue as yeah, I'm pretty sure that 44 tagged him in the left rear quarter panel, and that's never good on the entry to the corner.
No, it's always tough because these cars they're really able to spin out by themselves, so you really don't need any extra help. So that's not too cool. But one thing that is pretty cool is Kick-Ass Beef Jerky. They're the sponsor here of the Classic Cup Series. Be sure to check out their stuff, man. They got not only do they sell beef jerky, they sell a whole lot of cool stuff. They actually even sell soap, handmade soap, which is pretty cool. I don't think it tastes like beef jerky, but I don't know. I haven't actually tried it myself just yet.
Beef jerky soap.
It could be. It very well could be. But I know myself, I'm going to order some tomorrow, and I'm going to use the promo code SIM500. You see it right there on your screen. Use that promo code there to get 19% off on checkout. So pretty cool that those guys are able to sponsor this series, and we love Kick-Ass Beef Jerky. Checking us out on their Facebook page. Want to give them a shout out for sharing the stream here tonight, the broadcast from Verdane TV on the SIM500 network.
I think what's really cool when you go to their website and look around, you're free to make your own choices. You could pick a little of this and a little of that and something else, or you could just look at the different gift packs. And what I saw is if I'd have went and picked certain things that I wanted, I could have just bought the gift pack. They picked really well. They must know what people are interested in. So either option, you can do really well by yourself. SIM500 is really happy to have title sponsor Kick-Ass Beef Jerky in with us. It's just that good.
For sure. That's one of those things. You mentioned the gift packs, and I'm looking through them. It's like there's a small gift pack, and then there's a medium gift pack, and then it gets to the point where it's like, am I really going to eat $200 worth of beef jerky? So, well, let's see, 19% off of $200. I'm going to save probably $35, $40. Yeah, we'll probably click on that one. Just don't tell anybody.
Good. Just share it with your friends.
Oh no, definitely share it with your. Well, I don't really have any friends. Share the promo code. Share the promo code with them. Just don't tell them I'm sitting here by myself eating $200 worth of beef jerky.
Well, let's look what's going on out front here. Cole Dutton and Tyler Dalton, Brian Macklin, they were out in front of the melee, so they continue to be your top 3. I'm looking at Macklin started 25th, running 3rd right now. I like to see these drivers who have taken their time, figured out some sort of strategy, and sometimes, like a Las Vegas race, you hit the Monte on it. And, as you look back through the field, I see Shannon Wood in the O2 running 12th, started 31st. There's a huge opportunity, Paul, for these drivers to ride around, start in the back, and still have a shot at the win of this.
Well, like we said last caution, we made mention of him earlier, 2 spots ahead of him. Look at that. That mellow yellow crushed rear can there. Number 38 of Chad Coleman. He's running 10th right now. So he was able to kind of move his way back up after that caution, that late or that further back in the pack restart there. So you can see the back quarter panel, the back right quarter panel of that car really crushed in. So it may very well affect the handling of the race car, and it might just be something that Chad's just going to hold on to, hammer down, and see where he ends up.
So I think it's a good time for us to try and figure out who do we think is going to win this. I'll give you the first shot.
Of course you will. Man, it's tough. yeah, a lot of these guys, it's really hard to tell with a super speedway race, especially at Talladega and these cars. But I think I'm going to go with the number 30 of Brian Macklin, that plain black car. He was a late entry to this race, and I've actually personally ran with, I've driven races with Brian Macklin in a couple of other leagues way back when. He's actually a former Verdane Racing star as well. So I'm going to go with the number 30 of Brian Macklin to win this race.
I'm looking down through the field, and I think I'm going to go with the number 6 of Corey Chester. He's been running strong week after week, and even though he's got a little bit of a damage on that car, if you can run in the draft, you might be able to sneak it out. And he's got the Exxon number 51 to push him to the win, right behind him.
That's right. And he's got the number 5 car, too, to follow. And you can see Josh Parker's ahead of him there on the inside. So in good company there for sure. And we'll see. Maybe he'll be able to work his way up towards the front of the pack.
So lap 41, we're getting ready for the restart. Dutton, Dalton, Macklin, Campbell, and O'Rourke are your top 5. 41 laps in the book. We are working caution number 3, about to go back under green one more time. This one for a big mix-up out of turn number 3. A lot of cars suffered damage. However, half the field is ready to go claim their victory. Just like a true plate race, you're going to see somebody else sneak up here and possibly get a victory here tonight. Pace truck is in, cars rolling through the tri-oval, getting ready for the restart, as it's going to be Dutton to kick it off. Dutton, I'm telling you, he's been one of those drivers, Dutton and Dalton, the two of them, that have been extremely aggressive over the last 2 weeks. No surprise to see as we get to the end of this race that the two of them are going to be up front here to kick us off.
A little bit of a sloppy restart up front there, but you can see the 2 and the 9 kind of lined up. And the top 4, a little bit of a straight 4-car breakaway. And we look back at the pack, it's a little bit jumbled up, but it looks like everybody's going to try and fall in line. You see Chad Coleman giving a big shot to the number 1, telling him to get moving. We got to move ourselves up towards the front. And it looks like 2x2 for the back, well, pretty much the entire back of the pack there. You see them snaking off of turn number 2, shooting on down to turn number 3.
Yeah, Coleman made the big push, and the 99 right behind him decided not to go with him. Jason Barham running that high side, trying to get to the outside of the number 1 of Somke. Looking at the cars that have damage in front of him, I think he's just trying to pick a clean lane and see if he could work the draft. His car clean, as up front, they continue to battle for the lead. Now, Macklin, as you called it, jumps out front. He's going to lead for the first time here tonight, and E.J. O'Rourke is shoving him through turn number 1.
That's one of those signs that you can tell these two drivers have worked together before, because a big push from the 41 machine onto the number 30, pushed them all the way through and got them up to the lead there. And you can see he actually put a little bit of space between the 9 and the 2 as well. Caution back out on the racetrack. Looks like we might have a multi-car. Oh, we definitely have a multi-car crash here. Mike Kelly, the 5, is involved. Looks like we got about a half a dozen cars there on the backstretch. Evan?
Yeah, again, caution, breed caution, and we're going to have cars come together. You have cars that are slow from damage and cars that are fast in the mix, and unfortunately, sometimes they just can't gauge their speed well enough, or cars are slipping, sliding, and they're going to come together off of turn number 2 and give us one more time to go under caution.
Yeah, we're taking a look at some familiar names, the 15 of HARDIN, the 5 of Kelly, the 23 of Josh Parker. See the 5 clips the wall just a little bit, and really nowhere for Parker to go in the 26 car. Unfortunately, gets into the back of him, Kelly around, and spins him on around. And a big hit for that red car down there. Oh, and you see the 5 car of Mike Kelly gets T-bone there. We're going to back that up one more time here and take a look. Big hit for the number 8 Winston machine. As you can see, he heads on down low, smashes into the inside wall, and then gets, he gets straightened out by that white and red car. But, man, you got to figure that car's going to be done for the evening. Is that a couple of big hits for the number 8?
Yeah, one of the things we know is if you get hit head-on front at any car at speed, you tend to suffer some engine damage. And the big story on this is the number 5. The 5 of Mike Kelly, your winner on the opening day, 3rd place finish. He's going to get taken out. And this is going to be welcome news to the rest of the drivers. Kelly not appreciating it, of course. But from that standpoint, from a points perspective, this is going to open the door for opportunity on a couple other drivers.
For sure. Not too many takers there on pit road. We got about 22. We're probably going to restart with 19 to 20 laps to go here at Talladega Speedway. Brian Macklin still out front. E.J. O'Rourke running second. Behind them is Tyler Dalton and Cole Dutton, and Glenn Campbell is going to be rounding out the top 5.
Yeah, great evasive action and heads up by Brinley Addington in that. He saw the 5 getting a little bit squirrely, eased off, went down low, and able to drive around. And Randy Yoakum, who's been just kind of riding around, keeping his car clean, no place to go, found a lot of contact, and we saw the hit. It was pretty vicious. I'm happy to say, again, we brought this out when Daytona came around, is that it's a sim. And the good news is they just reset and get things going again.
Oh, for sure. That's one of those nasty wrecks that you never really want to see, and it's good that it is just a simulator. You can just kind of shake it off and push the reset button, and, well, not really push the reset button, but get down there and kind of listen to the pit crew work on the car and try and get that taken care of. Taking a look right now, the 6th place car, the number 31, Jimmy Coleman. We mentioned him earlier, the Mountain Dew machine. Still pretty clean on that car. And Glenn Campbell's car, the Trans Service number 44, a little bit of damage on the left front, but not too bad. It's one of those things, Kevin, where pretty much everybody's got equal amounts of damage, and you'll see, in some cases, 2 damaged cars working together might be a little bit quicker than a car with no damage.
Yeah, and you have to wonder if the damage on the back of the 5 had something to do with the fact that that contact got him turned sideways. That is possible, but 5 stories over for him tonight. He'll have to come back next week. Right now, we're looking up front at the law firm, Macklin, O'Rourke, Dalton, and Dutton. I was looking at the 9. It's a takeoff on the Bill Elliott scheme, zone 15, number 9 there, Tyler Dalton. He was hooked up bumper to bumper with the 2. And if the 2 of them are going to work together, that's going to be pretty formidable as a force. I would not want to be anyone else trying to uncouple those 2 as fast as they are.
Yeah, we may not have official teams set up, but a lot of these drivers have been racing with each other for a long time, and they know exactly who they can and can't work with. So you're going to see, you might see some guys that are on the same team working together. You might see some guys that don't really work together. It's just plate track racing, especially at Talladega. And once you get on the backstretch, you're pretty much going to try and push whomever's in front of you to try and get them to the lead, at least into turn number 3. Then you're probably going to try and move them out of the way and take that win for yourself. I know that's how I'd do it.
Harkens back to the Earnhardt Jr. days where he always hooked up with Tony Stewart, and everybody wondered why he wasn't helping his teammates, but the 2 of them always seemed to find each other. And it was TJ Majors, who was the spotter at the time, coaching him to a lot of those wins on these super speedways. And it's just you fall into lockstep with different bedfellows, and Stewart and Earnhardt Jr. were formidable back in those days.
What was that famous line? It's like Talladega BR.
Yes, just like it.
Call to the old sim racing days. Call to the old sim racing days for some of the fans that may not know what the heck we're talking about. It was a modified Talladega race where there was actually an extra grip layer up on the top side of the racetrack to make for some side-by-side racing. So pretty cool to kind of take a step back in memory lane there and think of the sim racing days of old. So, man, I'm old. At least I'm not as old as you.
Yeah, I know. I'm like a grandpa. I will say it's exciting to get back into this for me. I've been racing on the side just to get a taste of what the action is like here in iRacing, and especially these cars are a lot of fun, different racetracks. Nashville Super Speedway or Nashville Fairgrounds, just a thrill. I've watched races on TV, and now that it's in the game or in the sim and you have the chance to race it, I can understand why this is such a passion for all of these drivers. They're here on a Thursday night, giving up their hour and plus time, plus the practice that they had. And there's just no better enjoyment. If you have never considered trying this, I would encourage it. It's just something that becomes a lot of fun. And right now, you could feel the pulse increase. Truck pulls off. We've got about 20 laps to go. Out front, Macklin and O'Rourke are going to lead them down. It is up to Macklin to kick it. You can see the fire coming out of the side of the cars as they're revving the engines, trying to get that good jump to go off into turn number 1. And there it is. They kick it off. Macklin has a great jump. He's got right in his back bumper the number 9 of Tyler Dalton, and they are going to go into turn number 1 now. This is pretty easy coming up to speed. You're going through the gears, just trying to get through cleanly, and I thought Dalton was going to stick with him, but nope, he's going to poke to the outside. Out of turn number 2, he's going to run for the lead down the backstretch.
Yeah, and you see 41 of E.J. O'Rourke kind of faked him out a little bit. Said, yeah, I'll go with you. I'll push it. Nope, going to come back down here, and I'm going to push Macklin on the inside line. So great veteran move there by the 41, hooking back up with the number 30 of Brian Macklin.
It sure seems like when they get back to this end of the racetrack, 3 and 4, the bottom line does prevail. So I'm not surprised as they are under a blanket for 1-2. Then to the outside, we see that formidable duo, the 2 and the 9 hooked up. Now we'll see where Jimmy Coleman's going to go. Is he going to work with the 44 in front of him, or will he try and find his own way forward as the number 99 of Jason Barham one more time up here in that top 6 mix?
Kevin, these guys are really trying to see what these cars can do. They're hooking up with their friends or their teammates or even maybe their enemies, but somebody they may work together, and it looks like we might have a really exciting finish, and I'm pretty excited for it because this kind of goes back to the old tandem style of drafting where 2 cars pair up and 2 more cars pair up and 2 more cars pair up, and, whoa, a little bit of a mix-up there up front. We can see E.J. O'Rourke heads on down, takes the lead from Brian Macklin. 9 car gets a run on the outside, but we may very well see some tandem racing here to see which pack of 2 drivers is going to make their way up towards the front.
Yeah, I don't think that was on purpose. Macklin went into turn number 3, and the car just did not hook up. The back end swung around. He slid up into the middle lane. 41 had to decide whether he was going to jam on the brakes or dive to the bottom. 41 goes to the lead, and out front, you look at the feeding time at the zoo. O'Rourke out front with the car damaged. So that answers the question, can a damaged car compete? He's going to do it as Cole Dutton has a good run to the outside.
Speaking of damaged cars, you saw just out of the corner of our eye the 83 of Chad Coleman, that metal yellow machine, got up into the wall and unfortunately went towards the back of the pack. So not able to get, was doing a great job, made himself back up into the top 10, but unfortunately dropped back just a little bit. But man, back up front, the Hornet's Nest, these guys are getting racy. We got 18 laps to go. You see it right there on the timing and scoring. Give that last lap to the 41 of E.J. O'Rourke.
O'Rourke, Dutton, Macklin, Barham, Dalton, Campbell, Parker, Coleman, Hardin, Simley, they are your top 10. They're now racing under a blanket. We said the last third of this race, it would be time to go. Well, it looks like to these drivers with 50 laps in the books, it's time to go. Everybody looking for the opportunity. If there's a hole in the middle, they're going to take it. If there's a hole to the outside, they are going to take it. Side by side for the lead out of turn number 4. Sideways goes to the number 2, still trying to carry the momentum. E.J. O'Rourke into the back of Macklin. I don't know that he has confidence in Macklin. Macklin's car has been sideways quite a bit, and O'Rourke not willing to push him there through the tri-oval.
Don't look now, but that bright green car machine is back. Josh Parker in the number 23 Interstate Batteries. Bobby the Bonnie throwback. All over the back bumper of the 9. Gets a great run. Shoots on outside. Gets some help from Brian Macklin, who tries to push the back bumper. Looks outside. Locks up on the back bumper. He's going to try and push him. They have help. 4 cars up top. 2 cars down below.
Texas move. He was in the draft through turns 1 and 2. Came off the outside. Got the run, pulled to the outside, then came down, side drafted the number 9. Now he's blocking bottom lane, now top lane. Macklin at his back bumper. Now Will, yes, he's going to go down and cover the bottom line. Nope, he's going to stay through the middle. Dalton able to draw up, but it's going to be the 23 leading that lap as they are super racy out front. Oh, the 23 totally sideways into turn number 1.
15 laps to go, and we are 3 wide for the lead. These guys doing a great job. You see a slow car down low. They straighten it back out all over the place. Whoa, big move there from the number 2. Gets a bit sideways, gathers it back up. Great car control from all these drivers up front. These guys are putting on a clinic up front. Learn how to drive super speedway racing 101.
I really feel like Dalton's move was an evasive move. He saw the number 38 sideways and had no choice but to pop up to the outside should he fully lose control. As the number 9, Tyler Dalton, on the bottom, he's got help now. He's got a different dance partner. You've got the 99 of Jason Barham pushing the 9. 99 touches the apron. He's going to lose a little bit. That's going to open the gap behind that first place car in the 9. And here comes the 2 to the middle. Not settled. in behind the number 38. Dalton gets the push from Macklin, and Dalton is going to run to the outside in the number. There it is. I keep doing that. Dutton is going to run to the outside to try and steal away the lead here coming out of turn number 4.
And then take a look again. Brian Macklin working his way up around the number 2 car, and look at his mirror. Number 41, E.J. O'Rourke. I can bet you this race is going to come down between the one of those two drivers, trying to push each other towards the front, but they're also trying to get around each other to try and hold on to that number 1 spot. As you can see right now, they're both side by side for that top spot. E.J. up top, Brian down low.
Yeah, I'm just going to catch my breath and watch this.
Hair is standing up on my arms. Oh, contact with the 2 and 30.
2 cars to the inside. Upside down is Dutton. Well, he got in the air. He didn't completely go over.
No caution. Still under green. Still under green, Kevin. The 30 and the 2 go around. Big time contact. Still green. We got the 9 out front. That's going to be Dalton. E.J. O'Rourke up high in the 41 machine, and the 99 of Barham, 23 of Josh Parker, and Glenn Campbell in the top 5. 13 laps to go. Coming to the line, 12 laps to go. Man, big wreck there with the 2 drivers running in the top 5. Caution is now going to come out.
Yeah,
looks like a separate incident. That's going to be the 13.
Turn number 2. It looks like the 30 came down, thought the lane was clear, was not clear. Contact made. 2 cars go to the wall. And now we're under caution for the number 13. He's coming around, got tapped from behind, tapped from the side, squirted out. And it seems like, Paul, from what I could see, a single car incident.
Yeah, it looks like he got a little bit loose there, and just unfortunate. He slaps the side of the number 6 car, but the 6 was able to keep going. But big contact for the number 13. So he is able to grab a gear. He's probably going to try and putt around and see if he can hold on to a top 20 finish. But, man, I don't know. We've still got, looks like 25 cars on the lead lap at this point in time, which is big news here for Talladega. A lot of times you got a lot of drivers that are still damaged or maybe on pit road, but we're also going to back that up again just a little bit and take a look at that 30 and 2 wreck, see exactly what went down there. Just going through the tapes to try and pull that up here, and you can see it. We'll pull up the Kick-Ass Beef Jerky instant replay, and again we're going to focus on the 30 and the 2. See the 2 heads on down low, and just it looks like he gets right into the back of the corner panel of the 30 and shoots him down towards the inside wall, and then they make contact again. So tough break. It's one of those deals where really racing for the same piece of real estate, and unfortunately 2 cars can't go into the same spot.
I really thought the 2 was going to go over there. He was in the air, and it looked like the car was just going to tilt, and he had nicked the wall, and it looked like it settled the car down. So fortunate for the 2, he did not flip. Again, another driver who's had really solid finishes the first 2 races, and now has met with trouble here in race number 3.
Yeah, I'll give it a 5.5 for the flip, but I'll give him a 7.5 on the landing.
So we have broken up the law firm, and I was just taking a peek through our top 15 cars, and I counted 7 or 8 of those cars have damage. And this should be interesting. We'll see whether the cars that do not have damage will be able to work their way around. But that dynamic, Paul, that we saw earlier, where cars with damage not going really fast, cars without damage either stuck behind them, have to weave their way through. Cautions breed cautions. It's going to be really complicated to make your way through cleanly and get up into that top 5 with a clean car.
For sure, and the way the draft works, Kevin, is it's really tough to tell exactly how these cars are going to react, because a lot of drivers that still have the clean cars, you would think that they would be able to run nice and clean and fast, but if 2 or 3 of these damaged cars get hooked up, man, they're going to be able to push themselves right on past the guy that's been staying out of trouble all night long. See Mike Kelly, the 5 car going around. He's going to be the lucky dog here, which is great because we're going to be restarting with less than 10 laps to go. Looks like we'll probably restart about with 8 laps to go here, Kevin.
Yeah, so resetting your field, E.J. O'Rourke in the 41 out front, Josh Parker in second, Tyler Dalton still mainstay in that top 5 running third, Jason Barham having a solid race in the 99 running fourth, Ricky Hardin. Haven't called his name too much except for the couple troubles that he's encountered, but he's made his way to the top 5. Glenn Campbell in the 44 running in 6th, John Mustaine Jr. in the 3 running 7th. Scott Timley did what he did in Daytona earlier 2 weeks ago, just hung around all day and got himself a top finish. Right now he's running 8th. Joshua King running 9th. John Zerke. Talking with John earlier in the channel before we got race started. Didn't have a lot of confidence, but was excited to be here tonight. And here he finds himself in the late going, sitting in the top 10. Corey Chester running 11th. Gerald Livingston in the 97, running 12th. Have we mentioned his name tonight in the Baby Ruth car?
I don't believe we have, and you can look at that race car. It's actually clean all the way around. You can see some rubber buildup just a little bit, but doesn't look like there's any damage on there.
Right behind him, Chad Coleman in the 38th. Jeff Ryan in the 51, running 14th. 15th, James Stomke. He was up in that top 5 for a while. Finds him down in the pack a little bit right now. Mike Montesi in the 7th, running 16th. Brinley Addington. The strategy did not pay off for him at this point. He's running 17th. Shannon Wood in the 02, running 18th. Joey Jatina in the 14, running 19th. And it's Brian Macklin in the top 20 in the 30 car. Brian suffering damage from that incident before, and we'll have to see whether he can make his way back out front as we roll across the finish. Lap number 57 now working. Lap 58, lights are out on the pace truck. They roll into turn number 1, and I forget who we picked.
I picked Josh Parker. I'm pretty sure is the one who I picked.
And I picked a car that was damaged. I'll think of it in a minute, but we'll have to see where that plays out. And when I get it, we'll figure that out.
We get forgetful in our old age here in the sim racing world here on Verdane TV. But as you made mention, lights are off in the pace truck. We're lining them up 2 by 2. Are we going to have more cautions? Are we going to race to the finish? Are we going to have the inside versus the outside? Are we going to have tandem drafting? We'll tell you what. We'll let you know in about 9 laps.
It was Corey Chester.
That's right, Corey Chester.
I'm
Corey Chester in the 6th car.
My memory isn't good, so you're just going to keep notes on different things there.
Corey Chester in that Nintendo ride, number 6 car right there. Running 11th, he's got a lot of damage, but Talladega, baby, it's anybody's race at this point.
Yeah, they could all pile up going across the start-finish, and yeah, you could win from 11th. All things are possible. I look at that Life Buoy car, and again, I called this out before. What an exciting thing to see Life Buoy soap, and it really does bring you back to the day, the heritage of NASCAR in this time frame, and the different cars and sponsors that were in the series. And one of my favorite things to do is to go back through J-Ski's paint scheme from back in the day and look at some of the really cool looking cars. And I love Darlington. We went to Darlington, and my wife said, "Why are we going to Darlington?" I said, "You have to understand it's throwback weekend. Really enjoy that." And that's part of the lure of running this 87 mod. It's really fun to see these cars in these liveries.
Yeah, it's really cool to see that, and a lot of guys will take some modern sponsors or some sponsors that they may be bringing to this table to help pay for their expenses and kind of throwing their logo into a kind of a throwback paint scheme, as we see the 9 car does with that old Coors Light ride with the Zone 15 sponsorship. But lights are off, lights low, and lights are on pit road. EJ O'Rourke, he's down low. Josh Parker up high. Great restart for the 41. He gets the jump on 23. Caught him sleeping. Already has a 10 car length lead. He's gonna have he's gonna be a sitting duck there as he gets on down into turn number 1. Once these cars get up to speed, Kevin, they're really gonna try and blow right by the 41 machine.
Yeah, he caught everybody sleeping. It looked like he just had another gear as he drove off, but that inside lane is forming. I thought the 44 would stay with the 15, but Glenn Campbell peeks out, comes to the high line. He's going to tuck up behind the bumper of the number 9, and I suspect when he gets there, they are going to be the challenge to our leaders. The rest of the field kind of strung out now. We see the impact of damage to these cars. Everybody is just spread out a little more space in that field, not so much side by side.
A lot of what you're seeing right now, Kevin, I think these drivers are looking for somebody to work with. As you see Josh Parker splitting the sea as he was coming up the middle, trying to get into the lead by himself. He sees, looks like he's got a little bit of help. The 44 may come down and try and push him. Now he's going to go to the lead by himself, getting all around these guys. Now he's got the big push from the number 44 Trans Service car. Oh, man, and they're going to try and maybe take a peek 4 wide. Thinks better of it. It's going to be 3 wide heading on down to turn number 3. Holy moly, some great racing up front, Kevin.
Yeah, I see that 3 car going down there. It looks like it wobbled left, wobbled right, wobbled left, wobbled right, and then wobbled down to the bottom line. Is going to come up there and take the 3rd position. I'm looking at the Number 35, Joshua King. That literally is not a name that we've talked about all night. And here, when the time comes, he's running in the ninth position and has a great run to the outside. He's going to make it 3 wide. Nope, he's going to tuck back in behind the trans service. Number 44 is out front. Still side by side here for the lead. No surprise. Josh Parker is hammering to the outside, but he's got the number 41 of E.J. O'Rourke keeping him honest. As Tyler Dalton is hooked up on the outside, he's going to push Parker to the lead.
Heading down to turn number 3, going to be coming to the line with 5 laps. Oh, trouble, the 35 car around. Looks like, oh, big damage. That's going to be the eluded big one that we haven't talked about all night. Big contact for Joshua King. Still reckon as these cars are trying to get woed down. Another hit there for the 35. Holy moly, Kevin, that was a big wreck up front.
What an unfortunate side. I shouldn't have said his name. Isn't that how it goes? It's the curse of the broadcaster.
That's it. As soon as you say their name and their sponsor, they spin around. Big hit there for the 35 and the 3 car. Just backing up the instant replay, see if we can take a peek at it. And we are going to look at the Kick-Ass Beef Jerky instant replay. We're going to focus the 35 and the 3 here. The 35 comes down in front of the 3, moves up just a hair, and it looks like it might have been a little bit of a netcode deal where the couple of cars were trying to be in the same spot. A couple of pirouettes there from the 3. There's some style points there. We'll back that up one more time and take a quick peek. And unfortunately collects the Miller Genuine Draft car in the number 99. That's going to be Jason Byrne. We saw him up front a little bit as well. So tough break. Good looking 3 car. I like that chrome look. It's a neat little deal there for the GM Goodwrench car. But, man, tough break for the 35, the 3. You can see the 35 is already retired from the race. You got to figure the 33 and the 99 going to do the very same. Because that was a couple of hard hits, Kevin.
Yeah, that Goodwrench number 3 just ground the Chevy logo off as it was pirouetting on the nose. That's a paint scheme that came out of one of the Winston races, is it not?
I believe it is. I think I've got that die cast somewhere.
So it's going to restack the field. Now we're getting to it. We're towards the end of the race, and the restarts are going to not matter. Everybody is just going to have to run wide open and get whatever they can here for the finish, but try to keep it clean.
Yeah, just looking at the timing and scoring as they come across the line here to get everything reset. Josh Parker, Tyler Dalton, they've been up front. E.J. O'Rourke's been up front. Glenn Campbell's been up front. Ricky HARDIN, they're still in the top 5. But then you got the number 71 running 6, John Zerke. Chad Coleman in the number 38. He looks like a crushed-up mellow yellow can. He's running 7th. Scott Simley is going to be running 8. Corey Chester in that number 6, your pick, the Nintendo ride, he's running 9th. And Brian Macklin, who we saw a couple cautions ago with a big hit, he's running 10th.
So as we set up the finish here, 3 laps to go, there is one green-white checker. Do I have that right?
Yes, correct.
And as we look at the field coming down, I have to look at that number 9 car. It is very clean. Great job by the number 9. And we talk about strategy all the way through. Tyler Dalton, he just wants to run up front. And if he stays up front and all the trouble happens behind him, the Zone 15 number 9 looks pristine. Except for the dirt coming off the 23, car looks really good shape.
Yeah, for sure, and it's one of those things where as long as you take care of the car, it's going to take care of you for sure. And the number 9 of Tyler Dalton doing a great job. A little bit of dirt, like you said, but no real damage. You can see E.J. O'Rourke. His car doesn't look too bad either, as we see the back bumper's got a little bit of a kink in it, but nothing too crazy right there.
Yeah, same for the 44 of Glenn Campbell sitting right back there. It's just a little tweak to the left side of the nose, but the back of the car looks clean. And I suspect tucked up underneath the back bumper of the 9 or whatever car it's in, it's not going to be that bad. All the wiggle wobble from handling helps even out some of these cars that have a smidge of damage, and that explains why the number 38 or the 23 can be up front here and lead the field with the damage that he's got on that number 23.
You're absolutely right, and One of those things where he's really going to be, he'll probably be comfortable with the 41 behind him. He's going to restart with him right outside, and we saw those guys work well together earlier on. And just getting some words here from race officials. We have no attempts at green, white, checkered. So this, I don't believe this is going to end the race. We're going to see what the lights do on the pace car here. Hopefully we'll get a restart with 2 or 3 laps to go. You see the 99 wrapping up service, staying on the lead lap as he gets off of pit road there.
Yeah, the lights are going to go off. Lap 64, so I think we're going to come back to a
not quite a green, white, checkered, but a green, white, checkered nonetheless. I guess.
So resetting your field. Josh Parker is your leader. Tyler Dalton in the 9 is in second. EJ O'Rourke, 41, is in third. Glenn Campbell starts in the 4th position. 5th position, Ricky Hardin in the number 15. Outside row number 3, John Zerke in the number 71. Chad Coleman, 38, Scott Simley. They're 7th and 8th. 9th, Corey Chester. And Brian Macklin has worked his way back to the top 10. Realistically, you have to probably be in that top 10 to get a good shot at racing your way to the win. It could be the bottom line, the top line, or down through the middle that's going to make the difference. We have no idea, and that's why we watch. Paul, I'm going to sit at the end of my seat and wonder what's going to happen. That's the most exciting part of these restrictor placed tracks is you're going to watch to the end to see where the finish ends.
You're exactly right, Kevin. We're going to be restarting with 2 laps to go here at Talladega. A little bit better than 5 miles of racing, and it takes about a half a lap for these cars to really get wound up, to get up to speed. And after the 99, Jason Barham took the lucky dog there. That's going to put 22 cars on the lead lap, and a lot of these cars already have damage, so pick one. You could almost throw a dart at anybody in the field. Any one of these 22 drivers could come home with a victory here tonight.
They roll through the banking in turn number 4 to come to the flat, getting ready for the restart. Truck is going to make that left-hand turn. Down there on the yellow line, they're waiting for it to get to pit entry. Now the truck is going to make that gradual turn and release the field to your leader. It's going to be Josh Parker to kick it off with Tyler Dalton to the outside. Everybody tightens up. You can hear the cars rev. And they're just waiting for it to kick it off, and slow restart coming in here. You have to wonder if they're working which gear they're going to get. Contact in turn number, or in the back position, 3rd, 4th. Now they're winding up going into turn number 1. Out front, it is going to be Parker getting a good run. O'Rourke is going to be second. Dalton is going to tuck into 3rd. They're 1, 2, 3, 4 on the low line out of turn number 4. Out of turn number 2.
Oh, big time block from the 23 of Josh Parker, sending the 41 all the way down to that yellow line. 41's going to come back and try and get right around and take that lead from Josh Parker. See, these guys are wheeling and dealing in the back there. Put the 41 up front, but the 23 is right on his rear bumper. And don't look now, there's the 9 car looking up high. Tyler Dalton doing a great job holding on. He's going to try and get some help. You can see the 15 of Ricky Hardin trying to get up in the mix as well. Here comes the 71 of John Zerke.
Watching Hardin look to the bottom. He's going to sneak underneath the 23. Wasn't sure if that was going to open up for him. He had a good run, carried the gap, and he is there. He's to the back bumper of your leader as they enter into turn number 1. They're painting that yellow line, and it is the bottom line with the advantage out front. The damaged car.
Oh, 15, Ricky Hardin getting down low. No caution. Oh, big wreck mid-pack. There's a bunch of cars slamming into the wall, pirouetting. 41, they're going to race it back to the line. 41's got it, but they're 3 wide for 2nd and then 3 wide for like 5th. Holy moly, we're coming out of turn number 4. It's still anybody's race.
Yeah, 3 wide for 2nd is a good run by Josh Parker, but here comes the 9 to the outside.
Contact.
And it's going to be the 41 out front. EJ O'Rourke with a blessing. 3 wide coming out of turn number 4. Nobody able to get organized and mount a charge. And it will be the Gary Mercer Trucking Inc. number 41 of E.J. O'Rourke with the win here tonight. Well, with the damage, I guess we know the answer. Just a matter of will and determination to get yourself to victory here.
One kick-ass finish here for the Kick-Ass Beef Jerky Classic Cup Series. Holy moly, had us on the edge of the seat down here at the production truck. E.J. O'Rourke comes home with the victory. Josh Parker second, Brian Macklin third. Chad Coleman up to fourth in that 38 Mellow Yellow machine. Great finish there for that tore-up race car. Tyler Dalton's going to come home fifth. Glenn Campbell in the 44, he finishes sixth. John Zerke, we saw him wrap up in position number 7. Seth Harrelson, that's a name we haven't said all night in the 07. He's going to come home in the top 10 in 8th. James Somke, he's going to finish 9th. Chris Stouffer is going to round out the top 10.
Yeah, the biggest loser in that exchange was the 15 of Ricky Hardin. He had a good run coming out of turn number 2 and just squirted out, went back to the inside wall. And then they ran 3 wide. And I have to look at that finish. The 71 of John Zerke got a little bit squirrely because of what happened right in front of him. I saw the 38, I keep doing that, the 23, go up, body slam the 9, and then turn down and come into that second position. That was purely a defensive move, but it got him the second finish.
Absolutely. It doesn't matter how you get there. It just matters where you end up. But we're going to pay some bills real quick. Take a listen here to some of our sponsors here tonight. Don't go anywhere, because if it ain't TV, post-race show is coming at you with the top 3 finishers right after these commercials.
Have you seen my kick-ass subscription box anywhere? Oh, there it is.
What's one of the biggest challenges of managing a fleet of trucks, tractor trailers, and material handling equipment? Hassling with maintenance, repair, and vehicle breakdown. Trans Service's dedicated contract maintenance service, DCM, takes that hassle away. We maintain your fleet, no matter what the configuration, to the highest standards, while giving you the greatest cost control. We offer preventative maintenance executed to maximum utilization, equipment life, and necessary repairs, all tracked by a state-of-the-art paperless computerized system. Assistance with equipment engineering, configuration, including new engine technology, and onboard computers for your fleet, as well as dedicated fleet contract maintenance. Dedicated on-site service facilities staffed with management and certified maintenance technicians, inventories of parts, tires, and fluids, and all necessary shop equipment, diagnostic tools, and technology. Supporting services such as equipment inspections and assistance with meeting regulatory requirements, DOT, OSHA, EPA. Contact us today to learn about our turnkey contract maintenance solutions. It's all about the experience, yours and ours.
Welcome back to the SIM500 Kick-Ass Beef Jerky Classic Cup Series. The Talladega 175 for tonight is in the books. We're going to take a moment to catch up with our winner. He's just getting out of the car, pumping his fist. The Gary Mercer Trucking number 41 driver. Here he comes. So let's slide over and get a moment. EJ, that was the most exciting race, especially for you. You must have been looking out of the back window wondering what happened to those guys as you were coming out of turn 4.
Yeah, I felt like Dale Earnhardt out there, man. This 41 Gary Mercer Trucking, Tim's Quarter Motorsports, Papa's Hardware, Chevy Monte Carlo was hauling the mail. I just kept giving the draft to each of those guys behind me a little bit and not trying to get anyone an advantage so they get a run on me, but ended up working out. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, strategy-wise, you had to see behind you the cars making contact, and then you were able to pull off. But it was a tough go. Take us through that last restart and what it took to keep yourself out front and then to get the advantage going into 3 on that final lap.
Yeah, I was committed to Josh, until obviously coming to the last couple corners there. But I got by him pretty quick, and then they got all kind of jammed up behind, and they were 3 wide, and they started pulling each other's doors down and slowing them down. I got out front a little bit and just kept working the lanes and working the runs, and they couldn't get back by me.
We were wondering when you had that small advantage whether or not you were given enough sniff of a draft for somebody to get a run on you, but when they ended up 3 wide behind you, it looked like you clear sailing, but never easy, is it? You're literally up on the wheel every lap here at Talladega in these cars.
And these things are fun to drive. I almost destroyed it early on there in the beginning of turn 1, and then Ricky HARDIN and I got together off turn 2, and I almost blew over, but we were able to start from the back and come back to the field, and this was really a lot of fun. These guys do a good job, and I'm really excited to race here at SIM500.
So you're going to be the top of the board here. You're going to get a lot of points coming out of Talladega. I'm not sure. Maybe you can help me. Where did you finish the first 2 races?
We were in the Infield Care Center in Daytona. We finished 4th last week, so overall not too bad. We'll see.
Yeah, and we saw troubles for some of our top runners with the number 5 having his issues somewhere in the middle of the race. I guess the 9 is probably the car that emerges out front from the point standings, but you have to be in good position here coming out of what will be the restrictor plate races, which are always a wild card, but now you enter into more conventional racing and in pretty good shape for the points.
Yeah, we'll see. It's a long season. We'll see how things play out. Never want to have bad finishes, but a 1st and a 4th after the bad race isn't too bad. So we'll see. I mean, Tyler Dalton's been up front, and Mike Kelly almost won the points last year. So we'll see. Those guys are tough. I've been racing with them for many years, and we'll see what we can get done at the end of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I say that, but we have Daytona, and Talladega still to come through the rest of the 11-race season. So I guess in the grand scheme of things, as long as you're good at this, you'll just keep plugging away. EJ, anybody want to say hello to or give a shout out to?
I just want to thank SIM500 and all these guys for doing this, and you guys, Kevin and Paul Vidine, for broadcasting this thing. It's pretty cool to win here at SIM500. It's not an easy thing to do, especially at these plate tracks. And so thank you, Mercer Trucking and Papa's Hardware and Tim's Quarter Motorsports on this Chevrolet 1987 Monte Carlo was flying tonight.
There you go, EJ O'Rourke. Congratulations, and we'll let you go celebrate. Thanks for stopping by to talk to us.
Thank you very much.
Paul, we're going to look at second place, Josh Parker, the 23, coming in, and not sure if we're going to be able to pull Josh in. Looks like he's given an interview over there with the radio crew. You have.
Yeah, man, that was wild. I've never actually ran this 87 Cup car before tonight, and I got in last second because there was a few spots available, and they allowed me to race tonight. So I really took the beginning of the race kind of careful because I didn't really know what to expect. I had been told the car was fairly loose, and I just kind of took the first 15 or 20 laps to feel it out, and then I started getting more aggressive and started working my way to the front. And this car is a blast, man. I had no idea how much fun it was, but after the wreck, I just focused on trying to get in the right line and work my way back to the front. And I don't know how I managed to get up to third there at the end, but it was pretty wild. Yeah, Josh, EJ has been one of my teammates for quite a while, and whenever we can get around each other on the plate tracks or these big tracks, we try to work together. And when we both got to the front there towards the end of the race, we tried to stick together to try to make sure one of us had a shot at the win. And then, of course, I made a rather aggressive move, which got me turned. I didn't time my block very well on I can't remember who it was. I think it was Cole Dutton. And got me turned around, and then EJ was just kind of fending for himself up there, but he did a good job. He's a heck of a speedway driver, and he pulled it off, so good for him. But yeah, just a lot of fun, and this, like I said, this car is just amazing to race. All right, yeah, man, Paul, it's been a long time. It's cool. I get to chat with you here tonight for a few minutes. We had some good times back in the NR2K3 days, so it was a good time for sure. Just got to thank you guys for putting on the broadcast. Thank all the guys at SIM500 for giving us all these different options for series to race. You know, we have a series almost every single day of the week, so you can pretty much just jump in and pick one and race and have a good time. And I got to thank my teammates, especially EJ tonight, for working together and kind of giving me an idea of what this car was going to do. I had no idea. I came in completely blind tonight, so definitely got to thank him for that. And I think that's everybody.
Yeah, let him finish his bite. Josh Parker, Interstate Batteries throwback scheme to Bobby Labonte. Josh, I think I have a new nickname for you. We talk about how drivers run in the slip and loose is fast, but not on a super speedway. But I think we're going to call you Slideways from now. You were sideways so many times tonight.
Yeah, it was sorry, the line to the hot dog stand was pretty long. But no, yeah, it's fun to drive these cars, especially on super speedways. You never really have strategy coming to the super speedways on how to drive a car and letting the car sink into the ground and kind of get the slip angle a little bit on the right rears seems to be the way to be fast and saves the right front. So it's what I've been doing. What I've been doing.
There were a couple of observed laps where you were going in and you had a good run, and rather than lift, tuck in behind the car, you shot the gap, went through the middle with very little space. Do you ever get nervous? Do you ever clench up as you're driving through, or are you just in the zone?
I've made so many wrong mistakes, and you've seen them over the years that I'm used to what's going to happen. So it's I think I would be lying, but it's a little bit easier with these cars knowing that they're going so fast in the turns that the guy on the outside is going to naturally drift up a lane to where in the cup cars you can block a lane and you can block a guy going middle. If you're running the middle and you enter middle, you're pretty much going to wash up to the third or fourth lane. So as long as you trust the guy on the inside, you're pretty much guaranteed to have room to make it in the middle. And yeah, just the way you got to drive these cars. I'm just really comfortable doing it, and luckily it paid out.
Yeah, the funny thing about these cars, if you've ever sat in one, is you turn left and then you make a pretty big correction to the right, and you tend to be. There were times we saw cars going down the backstretch with the tail wagging on the straightaway. And you really do drive these cars left, right, as you're going through, just trying to keep them centered. And I think you definitely demonstrated a lot of skill here tonight, just getting yourself through. I need to ask you, the move through the tri-oval at the end, the door slam against the number 9. Did you lose the car, or did you go up there to slow its momentum and the two of you made contact?
The tire going down in the tri-oval, I felt it the last few laps. I was down on damage. I was caught up in that big wreck with lap 30 or whatever it was, so I was down on horsepower as it was, and just the right front just pushed up a little bit and got in a Tyler, so I'm sorry about that.
Well, I don't know if you get too sorry, because if you watch Tyler, he was running that white line and he drove down in the corner to you. I think the two of you met in the middle. That's the way I'm going to tell you to talk about it. when you go back and look at the replays. But a great run here tonight, Josh. As always, exciting to watch you drive through the field, and we appreciate you coming in here for SIM500 Classic Cup. How about it? Anybody you want to say hello to or give a shout out to before we close this down?
Yeah, everyone at SIM500. I mean, obviously you guys, Vidane TV, like this is throwback. This is legit Throwback Thursday. Like this is great. So, you know, racing in front of the guys that have been broadcasting, you know, my races since literally I was a kid, starting sim racing. So thank you guys, Joey, everyone at SIM500, Ricky Hardin putting this on. Everyone at Joe Gibbs Racing, obviously drive for them in the NASCAR Heat Pro League. So shout out to them, Interstate Batteries, Charlie and Larry, everything they do for me over there. Team name, Chad Coleman, I think is the only one who showed up today from our team. But, yeah.
I have one more thing I thought of. How about TJ coming in here, running up front for you guys? What's that?
It's good to see TJ. I've been racing with TJ for a long time, you know, going back to 2008. So it's good to see him hop on when he can. With his busy schedule, I know it's a little easier now with everything going on. He's a little bit home. He's at home a little bit more, but yeah, it's always good running with him. He's very fast when it comes to sim racing, and he has an aggressive attitude, kind of like I do. So we find ourselves meeting, you know, at the same time, at the same spot of the track a lot. So it's always good to see TJ come and run. He's an OG sim racer. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, thanks, Josh. Good luck. We'll see you next week when we roll into Auto Club Speedway for Auto Club 150 here on the SIM500 network. Always a good run, Josh, and we'll look forward to watching you run next week. Thanks for stopping by. So, Paul, top 3, O'Rourke, Park, Macklin. Macklin hung tough. He came from mid-pack there after that contact he had earlier to get himself a podium finish. And it'll be interesting to see where the points shake out every time you get to these restrictor plate races. It shuffles the deck. And the one consistent name that I see there is Tyler Dalton. He's been having a good season.
Yeah, for sure, Kevin. And it's one of those things we can check out the points over on sim500.com and also check them out on Facebook to get updated. Joey Katina does a great job with all of his series admins, getting all that stuff put together. We're going to try and get it to the end of the show here, but not entirely sure if that'll be possible. But definitely check it out over on the website, sim500.com. You can actually scroll down and take a look at the huge list of sponsors and partners that help get it done here at SIM500. But man, another great race here for the Kick-Ass Beef Jerky Classic Cup Series. Josh Parker just said it himself, man, it's a throwback. Top 3 were guys that I've raced with in the past for the 10, 15 years. And man, they were guys that you called their names 10, 15 years ago when we started this whole sim racing broadcast deal. So pretty cool to kind of come full circle.
It's also neat to see a lot of the new names, like a Reed Rundle that I'm not familiar with, but have a good run and make their name in this simulation world. And it's got to be exciting to come back. Now, these drivers, they're not only racers, and they are competitive, there's no doubt, but they're friends. When you look down through the Discord and the channels and you see everybody chatting, I heard one driver helping another with paint schemes and other things. It's a community. It's fun, it's enjoyable, and you make lifelong arrangements. Both you and I have gone. I went to Martinsville 2 years to meet with sim racing buddies and stuff. So I just love this, and I'm glad to be back in it and appreciative of being a part of the Day in TV and SIM500.
Yeah, Kevin, we're happy to have you back up here in the booth. And man, it's one of those things, if you're watching and you want to watching at home and you want to be a part of this, go check out iRacing.com. You can get the service, and there's tutorials on how to get your wheels set up, your wheel and pedals, and what kind of computer you need, and all that good stuff. And there's a lot of different private leagues, as well as some open races as well. But speaking of private leagues, just taking a look at the schedule right now, we just got done with the Talladega 175 for Sim500. Next Tuesday, we're going to be taking a look at the RBR Maritime Group. They're going to be running at 8 o'clock, and then we're back Thursday night with the New England, Pennsylvania iRacing Series, the Angry Tree Guy 20. That's going to be at Lime Rock. It's going to be the first time those guys take the ARCA cars on the right-hand turn, so pretty excited about that. And then here at Verdane TV, we rejoined SIM500 on October 29th for the Daytona 150. And down there at the bottom of the list, but definitely not the least important, Tim's Motors, easy enough for me to say, Tim's Corner Motorsports Super Late Model 300. The big show is going to be November 20th at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Going to have qualifying events right here on Verdane TV all week long, and we actually just penciled in the Tim's Corner Motorsports Weekly Series. Going to be a 7-week series in December and January, skipping the holiday weekends there for Christmas and New Year's. So pretty excited about that. We just penciled in some more races for the NEPS guys, and we just penciled in the schedule for the East Coast Winter Modified League. Going to be running a light series and a pro series, and you'll see the pro series right here on Verdane TV. And I'm actually pretty excited about that because this guy's going to go out and try and wheel around in an SK Light and see how many cars I can tear up. But Kevin, thank you so much for joining me up here in the booth, doing a little bit of double duty up here in the production trailer and talking into the microphone, so that's always fun. I'm exhausted. I'm going to grab myself an ice-cold adult beverage. But for Verdane TV, for the SIM500 network, for Kick-Ass Beef Jerky, and everybody here involved, thank you guys so much for inviting us into your homes this evening, into bedroom, living room, wherever you wanted to watch. If you're having yourselves a watch party, either live or after the fact, be sure to take a picture. We love seeing Verdane TV on the big screen, and join the conversation using hashtag Verdane TV. But be sure to check us out on social media as well, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch at Verdane Racing TV. But again, for Verdane TV, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. We will catch you on the flip side.